Today, here in our small state, a state that has led this nation in so many ways, I am proud to announce my candidacy for President of the United States of America.
This is how a political revolution began. From humble beginnings and being told it's impossible, to sweeping primaries and caucuses, the possibility of Bernie Sanders becoming President of the United States is very real. This documentary's purpose is to tell about who Bernie is, what he stands for, what his campaign has accomplished, and how he's doing in the election as of April 8th, 2016. So who exactly is Bernie Sanders? Bernie was born on September 8, 1941 in Brooklyn, New York, and he graduated from the University of Chicago with a bachelor's degree in political science. He moved back to New York in 1964 and he worked a few different jobs throughout that time, such as a teacher and a carpenter. He moved to Vermont in 1968 and he began his political career in 1971 as a member of the Liberty Union Party. In this party, he ran for governor in 1972 and 1976, and he ran for senator in 1972 and 1974. Placing third in 1974. He left the party in 1977 and became the director of the American People's Historical Society. In 1980, Bernie, at the advice of a friend, decided to run for mayor of Burlington, Vermont, and he won, by 10 votes. He was then elected 3 more times through 1989, and then he was elected to the House of Representatives in 1990 through 2006, then elected as a senator from 2007 to the present day. Well, that's Bernie's life and political career in a very small nutshell. Obviously, there's a lot more that I didn't mention, such as his actions and support during the civil rights movement and his acts in Congress, but I'd like to move on to a few of the things that he stands for. Bernie wants to provide a path to citizenship for immigrants in America through executive actions and building on Obama's actions, and he's also pro-choice and for gay marriage. On the issue of guns, he wants to strengthen the instant background check system, ban semi-automatic weapons, close the gun show loophole, which is privately selling weapons to others without a background check, and he wants to work to fix our broken mental health system. On foreign policy, Bernie wants to make the option of going to war an absolute last resort, and he would look to more peaceful alternatives. And now onto the issue that everyone knows about, taxes and what he wants to do with them. I'm not really able to find an exact number of what he wants to raise the taxes on the top 1% to, but I remember reading that it would be something like 52%, not 90%, like a lot of the news sites claim. And he also wants to regulate Wall Street and tax Wall Street speculation. And the money from those taxes, he wants to use it to make college tuition free for students, guarantee healthcare as a natural right, as well as invest that money to repair our crumbling infrastructure. He also wants to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, get big money out of politics by combating Citizens United, sign the Paycheck Fairness Act into law, which would let women earn the same amount of money as men, expand Social Security, give 12 weeks of paid family leave, 2 weeks of paid vacation, and 7 paid sick days, lower the prices of prescription drugs, invest in clean, sustainable energy, etc., etc. There's a lot that I could go over more, but that's just the basics, and I want to have the time to be able to touch on his campaign itself and some of the people that support him. One might believe that Bernie's only supporters are millennials, and there's a lot of groups on Twitter and Facebook that would sort of solidify that fact, like Millennials for Bernie, Bernie Sanders Dank Meme Stash, which actually now has a Wikipedia page, and Bernie Sanders Dank Meme Emporium. But his supporters aren't just limited to just young people. No, there are also groups such as Arabs for Bernie, Boomers for Bernie, Veterans for Bernie, Teachers for Bernie, Nurses for Bernie, and there's even a group called Cats for Bernie. Even felines are feeling the burn. Bernie also has his fair share of celebrity endorsements, most notably David Lynch, George Lopez, Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, Will Ferrell, Flea, Lil B, Killer Mike, Ben Cohen, one of the co-founders of the Ben & Jerry's ice cream brand, and the fucking Pope. While let's not really know if celebrity endorsements really even matter, Bernie seems to be doing well. When his campaign started in May 2015, Bernie was 52 points down from Hillary Clinton. When I first learned of him in June, the first thing I said was, who is this guy? And it seems that a lot of other people had asked the same question. No one had any idea who he was. He had almost no name recognition, especially against an opponent such as Hillary Clinton, the former Secretary of State and wife to Bill Clinton, a former president. I remember that in August, he had something only like 750,000 followers on Twitter, a full 4 million behind Hillary. In the first Democratic debate, Bernie had appeared weak and hadn't really shown why he's electable, with Hillary clearly winning the debate itself. But it brought a surge. According to the same graph that I used previously, his performance in the debate had brought him greater numbers, although it brought Hillary greater numbers as well. A few months after the first debate and a couple more debates, the Iowa caucus was held, ending with basically a tie. Hillary had 701 total votes and Bernie had 697. As the months go on, that space between Bernie and Hillary on Huffington Post's poll gets very, very small. I mean, he's only 2 points down from Hillary, and his recent victories have really shown that. Bernie's actually won 17 states, while Hillary's only won 15. Hillary's won Texas, Ohio, Illinois, the entirety of the South, Arizona, and Massachusetts, and Bernie's won Washington, Alaska, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Michigan, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, Utah, Hawaii, technically Nevada, Idaho, Nebraska, and now Wyoming. With him closing the gap in New York, Pennsylvania, and California, the race is much, much closer than most news stations show. If he wins New York by a considerable margin, not only will he either get extremely close to Hillary Clinton's delegate count or overtake her, but some superdelegates who have pledged their support for her will most likely change their votes to Bernie, voting alongside the people's voices. While the race for the nomination is still up for grabs and Hillary Clinton may seem to be the eventual nominee and the favorite, Bernie has the momentum, and he does have a path to the nomination. And in my personal opinion, if Bernie begins to point out her inconsistencies and the lies that she tells, he would completely storm past her in the polls and his numbers would skyrocket. But in the beginning of his campaign, he said he would only run issue-oriented ads and that he wouldn't run attack ads, so I'm sure that won't happen. But even if Bernie doesn't win the nomination, he's still completely destroyed the political apathy in young people's hearts and has shown the country the corruption that happens in our government. So that paves the path to more people like him deciding to run for public office and spurs change. Even if he doesn't win, he still has accomplished his goal. He still started a political revolution.